Good evening, everyone. There's a lot to discuss. A lot of things have happened over the last a few hours, so we get to it now in a second. But to put it lightly, literally, there's a whole list of coping um, um, points. Let's put it that way. You see, when I get tired, when I get started, I wait for a while, and I take my hand off for a moment. I have to get my hair cut. It's a mess. I have to get it shaved. It's not the best situation, I suppose, in the moment with my hair. What is that? Now I know people say it's not Wednesday. We most likely will be live tomorrow anyway, because it's not even the stuff we have to talk about Apple and all that. We're not probably going to talk about that today, but we get to it now in a second, basically. So it's a whole lot of how would you put it? Not excuses, but I don't know what you would say. Coping. There's a lot of coping in the stream today. There will be a lot of coping in a few minutes. So I hope you're looking forward to that. Like you haven't seen much, you haven't seen coping before, but yeah, there'll be a lot of that tonight for a while. So tomorrow's stream will be the mainstream. So basically, only one topic today, basically. A lot of coping, but as I say, I think everything's fine. We'll give it a few minutes anyway, because definitely my throat is going to. Well, yeah, there's a lot of coping for the true Finns at the moment. Hello, everyone. I forgot your name there for a second. Hello. Saturday. Does it look like Saturday? Oh yeah, you missed the last one. Yes. We were wondering where you're. Well, it was very late anyway. Just to say, my throat's going to be probably sore the majority of the night, because there'll be a lot of coping, basically. So are we all looking forward to 36,000 new bike sheds? But hello, Golden, too, I meant to say. But yeah, the True Finns are doing the usual. But it's quite different now. It's going to be... It takes me a while to explain, basically. Because basically this is all just kind of came out of nowhere. The last few hours, I suppose we call it. So it's going to be hard to explain. I can't... Some of it I don't understand myself, to be totally honest. But we work together. But long story short, does anybody good at business? Does anybody do business in school or into that? Business or tax and stuff like that? I know some stuff for tax and stuff like that. Not in relation to me. You see in a second when I explain fully, you get what I'm saying when I'm asking that question. But does anybody know anything about yeah, so basically with the money that Apple owes, we could build 36,000 bike sheds. So that's great. For 300,000 euro each. So everybody in the country gets a free bike shed, courtesy of the government. Because that's probably what they end up doing, because that's stupid. They didn't want the 13 billion. Now it's something like 20 billion or something more than that. It's a lot more than 13 billion now. So it's quite insane that like they literally here and they pay no tax, and they didn't even want the money for tax. It's quite insane stuff. But yeah, I get it. We'll just give it a few more minutes, and so give me tired. I should have got a gallon of water, because there'll be a lot of coping tonight. But does anybody know anything about tax or about business or anything like that? Figures and stuff like that. Maths would be the best thing to say. I do have a tab underneath this. Hopefully there's no other YouTubers going live tonight. Like Ninja Knight used to do his streams, I think, on a Tuesday. He doesn't do them anymore. I don't think he does. The last time he was live was a good while ago. Because this is definitely going to go on a while. This level of cope. Let's put that way. Yeah. I know a bit about it. So this is a situation that some of it maybe I'm not getting, especially because it relates to a different tax. Every country does the tax and stuff differently. Like in the United States, they do it entirely differently than Ireland. So there'll probably be some things that I won't understand, but I think I felt decent enough, because I've basically stuck my head into the computer for the last few hours to try and understand it. I didn't even chew any pencils at all. Like it's a pen. I don't even have like I have pencils, but I haven't chewed anything. Because look, the top is not chewed. I used to see people literally in school. This is off topic, but literally in school, I've seen literally people. Uh, with literally there was no top at all because it was all bitten off basically. Like literally, people in my school were literally just biting it, and literally it was just literally bite marks everywhere. Like it was insane. So if you think that's bad, like look how clean that is. Like look how good and pristine that is compared to the ones like some of them in school, and sometimes you wouldn't. Like one time I forgot my what do you call it, pencil case or what you call it. Yeah, literally, you should see people in school like they wouldn't maths and they're just chewing away. Like literally, somebody was just full on. Like literally, I've seen one pen one time in school. Like the whole this side of it was just full of teeth marks. Like they were chewing on it. And literally, one time there was one of them that literally like was busted basically. So basically from the teeth marks, and it's obviously hard. This is hard plastic. So the person must have literally kept biting it until it literally, like literally, ink was coming out when I was holding the pen. The ink was on my hand because of it. It was insane. Like I know a lot of people would like it's a habit for good few people, but like I usually like pencils and stuff like that. But this is not bike marks or anything like that. It's just wear and tear on these pencils. These, but I have a hard habit of sneezing and coughing when I because I'm kind of I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what. Yeah, I never get a touch of it. Like you often see me trilling around with pens, but I don't put them into my mouth. Um, video. Time for the cup. Where should I start? So basically, we start here. So yeah, stick with me for a while. So all attention to the news. You have to listen up. This is school. Hello there, Fiona. You're ready for the cup. So Santa Marin came out with this today. So over the last, I suppose 2 days, I suppose, and yesterday particularly, it kind of blew up. This is to do. So long story short, Santa Marin and her friend has a company, which the book that's coming out next year is basically under. So the profits are going to the company, not herself. And obviously, she has a stake in the company. She has 90% stake in the company that she owns. She owns it. And then it's a lot to describe, but long story short, so she gets paid from the Tony Blair Institution. She gets paid from the company. She takes dividends from the company because she owns it. So I withdraw my salary from our company, which I own income, not covering the salary in capital income through dividends, and I pay the appropriate income tax and pension contributed based on my income according to the upper limit. Outside of that, the dividends are withdrawn from the company in separate assignments amounts. The tax is paid according with the current tax legislation in Finland. My views in the tax system, to finish tax system are fair, and the rest of the world, But long story short, this kind of puts a lot of it to bed. That she's literally, like, in fairness, she's came out very quickly to say it. Like an Irish politician wouldn't come out quickly to say this, that they actually are paying the right amount and etc. etc. So I talk about this. So there's a lot of things to address here. But long story short, it's good that she literally came out straight away and addressed it, and said it straight. So it's a lot to explain, but bear with me. But basically, this is the biggest thing in Finland at the moment. So the true Finns are coping, and we'll see why in a second. But basically, the true Finns are kind of happy with themselves now because finally they actually complain about something about Santa Marin. Because beforehand they were just coping about her being so great, etc., etc. So as I say, explain now in a second. But basically, I don't know if people understand. So basically, what people are accusing Santa Marin of is not paying the right tax on her dividends. So basically, what the company, the money that she takes from the company, her personal salary from the company, not her salary from the Tony Blair, it's just not an issue, really. That's all accounted for, basically. But the salary she gets from the company, from her company she runs along with her friend, for the books and stuff like that, for like a business, and it's doing well. The business is doing well. Her business is actually in the green compared to every other business in Finland that's literally in the toilet. But she's kind of right in saying because, like, in her personal tax, like her personal taxes are okay and stuff like that. But the good thing about Finland, I suppose, going off topic a bit, the reason why we can see all this is because it has to be published. Like all this in Finland has to be published. Every only Joe's salary, etc., is published and what they pay in tax, etc. So it's quite transparent, basically. But in fairness, she was very quick to come out with this. Like Irish politicians, I could tell you 50 politicians here that have houses they shouldn't have, etc., that's not on the door records, and they have thousands of euro in bank accounts that not in their names, etc. Like the carry on going on here is atrocious. So you see in a second with them, because that's basically only half the story. But I don't think so, because in fairness, though, again, give her credit here, as many people pointed out, she's paying a lot of tax. You see in a second, she's paying a lot of tax on the salary. Like it is a lot of tax. If that was an Irish politician, they would not stay in the country. Half of them are not even here. They're in the Bahamas or something with their big accounts. But you get what I'm saying. So she's paying tax in Finland, and that's true because the Finnish tax, the report that comes out every year, even on only Joe's in Finland, it shows how much you paid in tax on your personal income, etc. So it shows that she is paying tax in Finland. She's paying an awful lot. She's paying over 500,000 in tax from her company and from her personal income. So that's quite a lot, €500,000. It's very good compared to if you looked at an Irish politician, they're probably paying no tax here. Compared to Apple is not even paying tax here. So it's quite. She is paying tax. Like she's paid. That's not nothing. That is something. That's a good bit of money. €500,000 each year. That's quite a lot of money. I'm sure you would agree. And the fact that she came out and addressed it too, that is another thing too. Because she could have just ignored it and let it, simmer. On the make. What do you mean on the make? But let me see. How am I going to explain this now? So basically, just to say who the other person is. So Sanna Marin owns 90% of her business. And this other person, so it's a personal secretary. As it says here, Marin owns 90% of this company. And then our friend, I think it's her. This is her personal assistant, her advisor, I suppose. So she owns 10% of the business of the company that they own. Now I don't know if it's in this one. So there's some of the articles say different things. So the company, the last year's profit was nearly €700,000 that Sanna Marin's company made. Like not her personally. We'll talk about the Tony Blair Institute in a second. But the company made nearly €700,000, and they did pay tax because it's there, and I can see it publicly. So the company paid tax. So it's not like the company's not paying tax itself. So out of that money they own, the 600,000, that they pay half of it to the government, to the Finnish government. So nearly 400,000 in tax, basically. Was that right? Am I reading that right? No, what am I saying? I might be reading that wrong. Let me see. See, there's that many numbers and stuff like that. Like I've been looking at numbers that have me like the last few hours. I just basically have my head stuck into it. See, it says about during the presidential election, Sanna Marin gave 50,000 to the one that was won, and that was out of her own personal account. Because it does show on the records too that it is her own personal. So that money that she gave to the candidate for the Social Democratic Party during the European, like the presidential elections of Finland, was out of her own personal account. Basically, no, it doesn't say it here. But the thing you need to know is that the company did make €700,000 basically, only last year for this year, basically. What I'm trying to say. Where is this? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure it out. So yeah, no, this is it's a 90% of made the profit. So yeah. So this is her profit. So I'm thinking, so this is what her profit was for the company, right? And she paid €83,000 in tax. So this is her profit from the company. So nearly 400,000 basically from the company, and she paid 83,000. So the problem is here. I try and explain because it's an awful lot of numbers and it's an awful lot of stuff. And nearly be better for somebody else nearly to explain it. But long story short, Yeah, she is like she's paid tax on her salary for the company because you can see it here. Like it is down on the records that she's paid 84,000 euro in her own company tax, basically. The salary that she makes from the company. Just to say, I go back to the screen here. So from the Tony Blair Institute, she owns 600,000 euro a year or something like that, give or take, as a special advisor. Hello, Shawnee. There's that much to explain. Give bear with me. So she owns 600,000 of the Tony Blair Institute as a special advisor. She pays 300 and something thousand euro in tax to the Finnish government, in personal income tax, from her work. So, that's quite a lot. 600,000. So basically, she's paying half of the money in her personal income to the Finnish government. Um, so if you add that up too, with how much the company has paid, which is another 300,000, um, it's well over 600,000 euro they paid in tax to the Finnish government this year alone. Yeah, like Sandra's not personally wealthy because it says how much she owned. Uh, but she says how much she owned. But you have to remember in 26 she wasn't prime minister. She was only an only member of parliament. She became a member in 30, what they call it, 2015. So she wouldn't have had that much because an only member of parliament only makes about 70,000 a year. Finnish parliament 60, 70,000. So this is now with her being a former prime minister. And obviously with the Tony Blair Institute, because again, you have to remember the money that she's making now. Uh, not saying that in a bad way, but she's made 600,000 from her job in the Tony Blair Institute, 600 and something thousand, which was not included. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, you're talking about the included in the wealthy thing. I don't know what should be included the most wealthy now. People in Finland, there's definitely other people that are very more wealthier than her. Like the former president of Finland, that's more wealthy or 100 times over. He has something like 7 million or something like that, like in personal income, etc., etc. It's insane. President Summon UNESCO, so it's a lot of money he has. So I don't think it compares to this. This is only small numbers. Who funds the Tony Blair Institute? It's private donors and stuff. It's the same with the company, the Santa Marin. Santa Marin owns a company outside the Tony Blair Institute. That's what I'm trying to say. There's people understand that bit, just so people would understand. There's people understand that the Tony Blair Institute and Santa Marin's company is a different thing. So who funds the Tony Blair? Like different governments fund them. They're funded by the World Economic Forum too. I think private donors, George Soros and stuff, give money to the Tony Blair Institute. I know all very sus. But long story short, Santa is the highest level, I suppose, of an advisor in the Tony Blair Institute. So basically, she's very high based in the Tony Blair Institute. So that's why she owns about 600,000 euro a year. But you have to remember too, she's paying half of that money to the Finnish government because technically her residence is in Finland. She lives in Finland, except so she pays tax in Finland. So as I say, that's her own person. There's no issue with that, basically. That's not the issue here, I suppose. But what I'm trying to say is 300 and something thousand, and she only takes about 300,000 home with her from the Tony Blair Institute, which is quite a lot. Here, that it's insane. How that should be taxed even at 100,000. Like basically, a politician here would be just let keep everything and go home with it, basically. Like it's quite insane too. Like this is all personal information too that's released. But I don't think she's driven by money, to be totally honest. I like she does what she did say public that she wants her company to do well. Yeah, because she owns 600,000, and the Finnish tax system. The tax system in Finland is very harsh. Like let's put it that way. Like you are taxed the hell and back, basically, because you have to pay for up until the true Finns came along, basically. You had to pay for a lot of stuff. You had to pay for all the world class healthcare, the education system. Like the defense budget in Finland alone is 15 billion euro. Just to put it in perspective, 15 billion on defense alone. Like that's insane. Just under the feds, like the army itself, conscription, etc., etc. So it's quite a lot of expenditure, basically, in Finland before the true Finns came along and just cut everything. But I don't think she, like, I know people would say she was doing this a pub, but I don't think I get to it now what people are really upset about. But personally, I don't think, because all the records are there from the Finnish tax office, like on her personal, from the Tony Blair Institute, she paid everything, like all her tax basically. Now going back to this on her company, like what people have an issue is what she's taken from the company, her own company that she owns. She owns 90% of it, remember. But she says, and I do believe her because she came out and said it. You know, she's literally come out and said it. She didn't. She said, like, if that was an Irish politician, basically, they would say nothing about it. They wouldn't address it. Like, she addressed it straight away. Within a day, she addressed it. You know, that she's paid like out of her own, like the dividends. I suppose that's what we call what you get out of your company, dividends, and capital tax and all that, and paid into the pension all contributions. And as she says, there's an upper level. So this is the highest level, I suppose, in Finland of tax. Basically, she's taxed more than the only Joe, basically, because of her income. But yeah, but no, there's no issue. So everybody understands, there's no issue with the money that she's getting from the Tony Blair Institute, because that's all paid for and accounted for. You know, if that makes any sense. But no, there's not that much more. It's more that people are kind of going mad, and particularly the true Finns are going mad. But just to put in perspective, as the Social Democratic Councillor said, Sanna Marin is a international superstar. Our company's already quite profitable. Isn't it great? Growth is needed in Finland. On the other hand, you know, the government at the moment in Finland is literally blowing everybody up. You know, like the highest employment in Finland's history, the highest debt in Finland's history. And you know what? And in fairness, everybody kind of agrees nearly with this. Like Sanna Marin, like her company, she's the only company really in Finland that's doing well. Every other company is literally in fucking tatters because of the current government. So in fairness to Sanna Marin, she's doing actually better than the current government in Finland. You can give her that. And in her own company too, that she employs with her secretary, she employs people along with that. So she's employing people and giving them jobs too. And she's, you know, and in fairness, quote, like just to say, the ministry of sitters, like it's time to cut and stuff like that. So basically, why the true Finns are very upset at the moment is that she's actually doing well. You know, the company's doing well. Like it's actually doing better than the Finnish economy. Just to say, her company. And that just goes to show you, as soon as Sanna Marin left the Finnish economy just collapsed because these bastards took over. Like as I say, it's actually true. Like this is a true statement. Like it's good to see that she's doing well and the company's doing well, and that she's employing people, and the company's basically doing better than the Finnish economy, because the government at the moment can't really talk out of the mouth and say this is a disgrace for Sanna Marin doing well, because you know, the highest unemployment in Finland is the highest debt in Finland's history. You know, we get to this too, but so we all understand. Just so people understand, so it's not the Tony Blair Institute that's the problem here. Just to explain, I just was saying that she paid all her tax there, which is quite a lot, 300 and something thousand euro a year in tax. It's quite a lot in trade. So she only takes home about 300,000 euros so from the Tony Blair Institute. Which I know people say that's a lot at the same time, but it's not as much as an Irish politician would make if they were coming home from the Tony Blair Institute. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Like basically, she could go to the Bahamas, basically, as Erin only said, and make an account and live in the Bahamas and pretend that she doesn't, that she didn't have to pay all that. But she is paying no tax in Finland. But the problem is, and I try and find the thing that explains it. Like there's a lot of figures, let's say. So what I'm missing anything else? So yeah, they are paying capital tax of 30% or so. That's what the company is paying, I think. Like there's an awful lot of figures and just stuff. Like there's that much. So as I say, this was out of this was out of our own personal account, the funding for that person for the European elections. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anything now here, because there's a few articles that are saying the same things, but they're putting it in different ways. Because I'm not that great at tax. Don't say I'm a tax lawyer or anything, but I've literally put my head into the computer for the last few hours to try and understand this. But basically, Sarah Mountain's company, to put in perspective, is doing well. Like it is doing very, very well. They're making a lot of money, etc., etc. And they will probably make a lot of money when her book comes out. Literally, this time next year, her book could be out, and that's probably going to make the company even more profitable. So basically, she's doing very well, basically. Um, so on the other hand, too. So this has become the biggest story in Finland at the moment. So obviously the National Coalition Party are fucking off, like literally losing the plot at the moment. Um, so in fairness to Lie Anderson's literally coming out and saying this is bullshit. This is the big hullabaloo over this. So this was Sanna Marin's. So the Sanna Marin made a profit of this. So I think I showed this earlier on. But this was her profit from her company. So if you added up 300 and 300,000, so she's bringing home 600,000. Which is off that. So basically, off this, she's paying 83,000 out of her own company. So this is the money she gets home from the company, not from the Tony Blair Institute. I know people probably getting confused about this, but that's the money she brings home. So it's about you have to take this away, I suppose, from it. So yeah, maybe 200,000. Yeah, would it be 200,000? Yeah, 200,000. So yeah, about 500,000 or so she brings home with her a year. But now there's the biggest issue in the room, I suppose, the elephant in the room, is they're saying about the 26, no, not 26, 24. They're saying about 24,000 she took out of her account. Now, this is the big issue at the moment, is to do with 24,000 euro, which was taken out of the company. Now, a lot of people are alleging that she didn't pay tax, or she didn't pay income tax on that 24,000. And brings me to this one now, as Sanna Marin said. This is what people are really upset. Imagine that 24,000 euro they're complaining about. They complain about 24,000 euro literally when the company's making billions, like not millions, but like literally a million or so, more than a million. And as she says here, this is to do with the dividends, as to say, I paid the appropriate own tax and pension contribution based on my income, the upper level. So I don't believe the Sanna Marin's lying, because let's be fair. If she was lying, people would go mad, basically. So I presume, going up assumption on that 24,000, she has paid taxes. There's probably no evidence of it. I can't find any evidence of it. But it seems to be to do with the 24,000 euro in tax. So there's a lot of figures. There's a lot of money here. There's a lot of money there. It's very hard for somebody that's dyslexic to learn all this and this whole taxes, because it's absolutely absurd amount of money. So we're talking about probably 1 million or so a year. From her Tony Blair Institute, that's 600,000 euro plus the tax and all that she has to pay, and the pension, as she says too. And then obviously from her company too. So it's a lot of money. Yeah, but it still compares nothing to, like, at least she's paying tax. Apple never paid tax for the last 80 years. This has been going on. Apple never paid a penny. So in fairness to Sanna Marin, she's paying something. Actually based in Japan. What's this to do with? Is this Are you talking about the new? You're not talking about the new Assassin's Creed. I know that's in Japan. Like literally, I'm talking about Sanna Marin here, and you're like, this game on the PlayStation 5 is busting. But what's it about? But long story short, I don't know if the majority of people think she's a crook. I'm not crook. But no, I don't think she's done anything wrong. Like I have my list here from the Social Democratic Party on talking points, etc., etc. So there's going to be a lot of coping now in the next 5 minutes. So hope you're getting ready for this. But in fairness, like, do you not think this is a true statement? Like Sanna Marin is, like, nobody can doubt that statement. That she is a superstar. She is an international star. She is at another level. Let's put it that way. And the business is quite profitable. The whole company is doing very well, considering all the other companies in Finland. And as I say, the people who are really crying about this and making it a big issue is the the True Finns and the National Coalition Party. They're the people making the big issue out of it. And the only thing they have to offer, and this is the thing, when Santa Mountain was there was no high unemployment. There was no really that high debt. The debt has gone up even more since she's left office. So basically, they probably should be more worried about their own economy than worried about somebody else's business. But yeah, as this person says about man, but I'm also annoyed. Publicly post now, and that much I'm worried every day about. But basically, what he says here, but Mao proves that one thing: the most insincere and most jealous group can be found on the right, which is basically saying the True Finns and the National Coalition Party, which is the truth in this thing, because they're the people that are really, really upset at the moment about it. Like they're the people that are literally on another level. Like they spend literally they obsess over Santa Mountain, the True Finns and the National Coalition every day of the week done with Santa Mountain this, Santa Mountain that. But nobody can lie that the company's actually doing well compared to the Finnish economy. And compared to the True Finns and the National Coalition Party, they really don't have any leg to stand on when it comes to actually doing good economics, etc., etc. Like the only Finn on the street I don't think gives a shit about this, basically, because it doesn't seem like she hasn't done anything wrong. Whatever, but maybe if she didn't pay the 34, there's no. I suppose it's hearsay at the moment because it's that much money, I suppose. But we all know she paid, like in the Tony Blair Institute, her wages, she paid tax on that. And we know she's paid tax. The company has paid tax in Finland. So they are paying tax and stuff like that. But it's just the fact of the matter. I suppose the big issue over the whole lot of this is the 24,000 in dividends. It's that's it's supposed to be based. Is it out already, or I can look it up now in a second, actually. Yeah, but though the thing about it, when his wife's birthday, that was during the European Council meeting, basically, and he went to for his birthday in a swap. Like he literally went to the swap for to celebrate his wife's 50th birthday. Do you know the European Council? Like it's all when all the prime ministers go to the European Council. So basically, the reason why a lot of people said he didn't want to go because this is the situation in Finland. That the country has the second highest unemployment in the European Union. The country has gone into debt. There's literally 12 billion euro less in the Finnish economy than there was when Santa Mountain was there. So basically, the government is running negatively. Basically, so even though they cut 9 billion euro in public spending, like we could go on for hours. There's more things to show you here now in a few minutes about the True Finns and stuff. But generally, and I know I sound like I'm very neutral in this position. Obviously, I'm not a Santa Mountain fan, but like she does say about it, what an affair or economic thing. But this is the thing, and this is the thing she wastes really, something to behold. And I suppose, as a lot of people say too, is that she walks internationally. Like the majority of work she does is not in Finland. She's in the Ukraine, or she's in Moldova, or other countries in London. So really, some of her work is probably carried out in Finland. But the majority of her work is internationally, the Tony Blair Institute. So, technically speaking, she could go to, take, for example, London and have her headquarters of a company based in London. And she would pay far less in corporate tax in Finland. So she basically could save thousands and thousands of euro. But she makes a good point that she's literally paying the tax in Finland, even though it's insanely high. Like Apple wouldn't go over to Finland, basically. My point is, Apple definitely wouldn't go near Finland because the tax is too high for companies, etc., for companies like this. So basically, Apple and like all the big tech platforms wouldn't go near Finland with a 10-foot pole because they'd be taxed at hand to back. You talk about only 13 billion. If they were in Finland, they'd probably be paying 30 billion, every year, because that's how bad it would be. So, yeah, election. They barely got in. Basically, if you look up the election from last year, it was neck and neck, basically. The Social Democratic Party, Shannon's power party, came third. The True Finns came second. The National Coalition. It was all point. It was 0.4 something like that percentage between the parties, basically. So basically, it was only a few hundred or a few thousand votes in between the two parties. Basically, it was very close. Basically, it was like literally on a knife edge. But the thing I have to give her credit for, like she could have ignored this and said, like technically she's not a public official now. Like technically she's not a politician. She works for a private corporation called the Tony Blair. The Tony Blair Institute isn't a public, like isn't funded by the Finnish taxpayer. Like it isn't. The Finnish government might fund. I don't think they do now. The True Finns wouldn't do it, but But what I'm trying to say is not a public office, like the True Fin, like not the fucking True Fins. The Tony Blair Institute, Santa Mountain wasn't elected by the Tony Blair Institute. Like it's a private corporation, basically. So basically, at the end of the day, like this is not to do with the Tony Blair Institute, but even though company too, like it's a private company, it's nothing to do with like she's not a politician now, basically. She's not kind of like the prime minister now. So in fairness, she could have said nothing. Like in Ireland, I could point to, like we look at Apple, like Apple's a queer example. Like this is very peculiar too, thinking about Apple. Like literally, Apple's here paying no tax here. Like let's put it that way, for a long, long time, and only might be paying tax from now on. But long story short, every corporation in Ireland's doing the same. Every big corporation, they're paying no tax. So in fairness, she is paying tax and she's paying her own personal tax, etc., etc. So she is doing it. Like it's not the fact of the matter that she isn't doing it. She is doing it. But as I say, she would have been stupid if she never paid tax and stuff like that. Because why in Finland, particularly, because all this has to come out every year. There's a like if I lived in Finland now, if you or anybody else lived in Finland, I could look up your name and where you live and find out how much tax you pay, how much income you make, how much you make. There's a law in Finland where that has to be published, even on the only Joe. It's all to do with transparency and fairness and stuff like that. So that's how we know all this, basically, because in Ireland that wouldn't happen, unless they really volunteered to do it. But basically, all that's public information. Everybody's information is public. There's transparency, basically. You know. But I keep going back to this too. Like the only thing that's profitable now is Santa Mountain's company. Like I have talking points here. I don't know about that. Like I never knew one person that worked in Google, etc., etc. It seems to be all people they're bringing in themselves, from Timbuktu, etc., etc. There's very little Irish people I think that works in them multinational companies. I don't think so. I say it's all the people that's been brought into the country really getting jobs in it, because all of them seem to be engineers, etc., etc. Like I never met anybody in my life that worked for Google or for YouTube or TikTok, an Irish person like that. So I don't think so. I say it's probably their own crowd they're bringing over. Oh, I know, but we've seen with Apple. That's probably happening with TikTok, with Google, with all these companies. They're paying literally no tax because the government won't take the tax off them. So that's what's probably happening. Are you talking about? You're probably talking about the only shop, are you? Or are you talking about the big corporations? See, there's that many figures. Again, apologies if I seem distant or anything. There's just that many things to try and, I suppose, fit into your head here. It's hard to explain. Basically, it's so much numbers, and this, it's on another level, basically. But take for example, Pfizer has what they call a factory down in Clare, and they have an office in Dublin. And Pfizer's profits, obviously, the last few years have skyrocketed, etc., etc. But they pay less tax here than they ever did, basically. So, but particularly when you see the Apple situation, I don't think we can complain about Santa Mountain. to the Irish economy, yeah. But the thing is, to look after them too well, basically. No, I don't think so. Because if she really, really wanted to, like you probably seen, Aaron only probably knows this already, but you've seen the Estonia Prime Minister. I can't think of her name, but you know who I'm talking about. She's gone for a big job in Europe. It's something like over $1 million a year, basically. So comparing that to what Sanna Marin gets in the Tony Blair Institute on the chicken feed, you know, like the former Estonian Prime Minister left for a big job in the European Union. Like, definitely she could have got a bigger job in the European Union, basically, what I'm trying to say, compared to what she got in the Tony Blair Institute. Because, again, a lot of people was rumoured at the time when she did leave as Prime Minister that she could have got Ursula von der Leyen's job, which is a huge amount of money, insane amount of money, more than she could ever make in the Tony Blair Institute. Yeah, like this one thing down in Clare or something like that. But, Pfizer, take for example, made huge profits with the vaccine, obviously, and the profits were insane. And they probably paid little to nothing here. But the problem is, Shawnee, they take care of them too well. We've seen already now. As I said in my video earlier on, if that was the only man, like the local man down the road who has a small shop is struggling to make ends meet, the revenue wouldn't bat an eyelid to go in and take and shut his shop down. Compared to the big multinational companies get off for not paying for anything. Because I know businesses in the town that have to close because they can't afford to pay the staff, they can't afford to pay the bills. And the revenue would not bat an eyelid to go down and shut them down and shut the businesses, etc., etc. So basically, the big corporations and stuff like that are favoured too much. The small man is not being favoured; it's being abused and taxed to live in hell. No, it's not. It's not so much the media. Like the Finnish media is not. They're reporting on it. Obviously, it's a big thing. Not so much in the bad light and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to get at here, is at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal because she is paying a lot of tax. So if we say it's about 600,000 or something like that, or more, God only knows how much more she's paying in tax. Like that's a lot. Like, is 600,000 not a lot of money from her personal income and from the company income? Like about 600,000 or so she's paying to the Finnish economy, which is insane amount of money, nearly over $1 million a year. If you think about it, and there'll be obviously more next year with a book coming out because her book is registered with the company. So when the sales of the books will be going towards the company, so that means it'll be going towards the Finnish economy basically because there'll be tax paid on every book that's sold, and that'll be going back into the Finnish economy. But basically, too, what I'm saying is she employs a good lot of her friends and stuff, and as they say about her special, like her advisor or friend that has the 10. So basically, Sanna Marin owns 90% of the company, and her friend owns 10%. So obviously, Sanna Marin would make more money than her friend too on that, just to say, because she has more shares and stuff in the company. Like, no, there's no international media really talking about it. It's only the Finnish media, but it's more the white leaning media that's having a fit. It probably will be talked about in some of the other media because it's kind of the biggest thing in Finland at the moment. But a lot of people are kind of taking our side. Like, it's kind of 50-50 at the moment. A lot of people are very frustrated at the moment because obviously, the true Finns are about, and they're fucking everybody over up in Vias. Consider what I showed you the other night. So on average, the only Finn on the street, the only Finn that works a 9 to 5 or whatever, gets 2,000 or 3,000 a month in the salary, basically. Take, for example, take home, right? Now they're taxing that. The true Finns have decided, let's tax that even more. So say, for example, you own 3,000 euro, now you'll be only owning 2,000 euro. And say you own 2,000 euro, now you'll be only around maybe 1,500 or 2,000 euro, basically. Because they're going to up the tax on that. So a lot of probably Finnish people are very upset too that that she's doing that she's doing well and everybody else is not doing well. I suppose that's some other way to look at it too. But obviously the elephant in the room. Now it's time for the cup. So obviously I got a list now from Helsinki today from the Social Democratic headquarters. So obviously it's Russian misinformation and disinformation. So it's Putin's fault. Putin made up these accusations. So and obviously too, we all know really, at the end of the day, a lot of this too, as this person points out, a lot of this on the right, particularly from the True Finns and the Conservative, is just jealousy. They are just jealous that Santa Mountain is that well liked and is that well got. And not even that. They're jealous that the company's actually doing well compared to other businesses in Finland. The rest of the businesses in Finland are just in the toilet at the moment because that being fucked by the government. So a lot of people, like a lot of these True Finns, etc., that coalition, are just jealous. They are just extremely jealous. Like the leader of the True Finns is extremely, like, she's literally talking about every fucking 10 minutes of the day. So I think a lot of it has to do with jealousy. Like people are just jealous that she was doing so well, etc., etc. I think that's just the main thing. It's just jealousy in a lot of cases. And I suppose it's not so much greed. I don't think Santa Mara really gives a shit about the money. Because if she really, really wanted to, as I pointed out 100 times before, if she really, really wanted to, she could have went for a bigger job, the presidency in Finland. She could have went for, as I say, she could have went for a big job in the European Union, compared to, what she had, the 600,000 euro, which sounds like a lot. But again, you have to remember she takes home only 300,000, which is, I know, not bog standard, I would say, but, not bad, basically. Well, compared to what Irish politicians make, compared to how God only knows what he's getting on advice supports, etc., etc. Yeah, like obviously at the moment this is the thing, and hello fisherman, but obviously at the moment this Social Democratic councillor says, like what's happening at the moment in the Finnish economy since Sanna Marin's left. This is the result of of the current government. Literally nothing but unemployment and debt goes, and they're that worried about Sanna Marin. Like this is what literally as soon as Sanna Marin left, this is what literally happened. The debt grew, unemployment, the usual thing. Just sit there all done. Where she met, just sit there all done. I don't think she probably, I don't know about, would you say, friends. But she met with her 2 or 3 times, yeah. But I don't know about friends. I don't think so. I don't think she would be that best of friends with to sit there all done. She'd be more friends with, I can never think about what it's the name of the Estonian Prime Minister, sorry. But long story short, I don't think Sanna Marin done anything wrong. Because she is paying tax, so. Like you can see it, like even with public information to it, she is paying tax. But I do feel bad that she has to go through all this shit. Would have been good to hear that she's not finding it. Yeah. But I just try and see now for a second. Give me a second. You know the woman as soon as I say I can never remember. Yeah, we put in this vicinity. Like in fairness too, you have to remember. Sanna Marin, when she was in government at the time, the COVID lockdowns, etc., the Finnish lockdowns wasn't that long. You remember, and you have to remember after everything was said and done, 85% of Finnish people thought that Sanna Marin did actually very well during the whole lot of that kind of carry on. Like a lot of people actually agreed with Sanna Marin on a lot of stuff she done. Yeah, well, we could say Sanna was a bit of a idiot, but long story short, like 85% of people, like in Ireland, that wasn't the case when Leo Fark was here. Nobody liked them during the COVID lockdowns. But Finland wasn't that locked down that much. Like lockdowns wasn't that didn't happen for long, basically, and the economy opened up a lot quicker, basically, in Finland. So so that woman there you were talking about. So you know yourself, she got a big job in the European Union. She left her office of Prime Minister to so she's a role, like what they got. So she's appointed to High Representative of the European Union Foreign Affairs and Security. So I think she's getting a million or so a year, or more than a million. So basically, she's starting the big money, basically. So she left her office of Prime Minister, um, and went for this big role in the European Union. Now, I said when she did join at that time, like Sanna Marin probably was offered this, just to say. She probably was offered but toned it down, to be totally honest. So it's hard to know. I suppose when a book comes out, we know more about why she chose the Tony Blair Institute. What was her taking behind it, particularly? But yeah, she left to join. She literally left her prime ministership, not even before an election, just left it for that job. So I don't know why she did it. But yeah, she would have been good friends with her, because obviously the two countries are beside each other. But she would have been good friends with her. Not so much to sit there on her own. Obviously, she met her a few times. She went to New Zealand once. Don't think they like to be talking regularly, basically. Let's put it that way. Like I say, she probably is talking to her regularly. No, not regularly, but every once in a while, she's probably having a discussion with her. And the former Icelandic Prime Minister, or she's the current Prime Minister of Iceland. What do you call the Icelandic Prime Minister? Just give me a second. Like she would have been good friends with her. It's a different Prime Minister. But mainly her friends would be her own personal friends, like only Joe's. She would have been good friends with the Prime Minister of Iceland too. So that's about it. So I would say she probably keeps in regular touch with these two people, but she wouldn't like be talking to them every week. I say, so that's what I say. Like as you see, Lie Anderson has taken up for basically. Like she's not the current Prime Minister. I thought she was, but she's not the current Prime Minister. She used to be when she was there, obviously. But it mainly would be like her friends that she knows with. What the piggy? So basically, it's all bullshit. What is this? Give me a moment, actually. Don't talk to your neighbours, yeah. Don't talk to them, yeah. But no, the Finnish lockdown wasn't that bad. Like it was opened up a lot quicker, etc. The economy got back working quicker, etc., etc. Like as I say, 85% of Finnish people were kind of very happy with Sanna Marin during the lockdowns. So that's the hello, Shawnee. We're not going to update you on everything that we were talking about literally for the last 6 hours. But yeah, it's been a lot of confusion. Tomfoolery, may I say. But I do recommend listening to the stream later on to get up to date because there'll be probably a lot of talk for the next few days about it. But just to say too, my points from the Social Democratic headquarters today. So it's obviously Russian misinformation. The Putin's to blame for this, of course. Well, to be totally honest, the people who actually are to blame for this big fucking fiasco at the moment, it's the true Finns. They're the people to blame. If Sanna Marin was still in government, she wouldn't have had to set up a company. She would have been still the prime minister. There would have been no company. Obviously, jealousy, etc., etc., is a huge thing. And obviously, people just being fucking hate her because she's a woman. There generally is some people on the true Finn side just hate her because she's a woman. Like there's generally some people like that in the true Finns. They have nearly nothing else to say about it, but just because she's a woman. What is a woman? And that's the next thing. What is a woman? But basically, that's what the stream is. So obviously, we'll be streaming tomorrow, just to say, on this Google thing and the Apple yoke and all that. But basically, there's far too much going on to explain, and obviously, the cope is uh, on another level. But yeah, no, what was I saying? If I have the fucking thing, um, now, so the co-Finnish government, are crying about Sanna Marin, and uncovering literally within a year, just to say. So basically, what this means, you're probably wondering what this means. So that means 30,000 people have lost their jobs within the last 400 and something days. So this is what this means, just to say. So basically, the Cohen government in Finland can't really have a leg to stand on because Sanna is actually doing well. And you're probably wondering how they did this, how they managed to do this within the last year, June last year, how they managed to do it, how they managed to do this. Well, let me tell you. And at the moment, I think they're saying it's like 15 businesses or so closing down every week in Finland at the moment because basically there's no money basically to keep the businesses running because not only have the government fucked people over, and not to mention a lot of people haven't got as much rights as they used to do in terms of labour rights, etc., etc. But not only that, the business rates the cut, along with the cutting the business rates, gets what they did. They put up the tax. They put it up huge amount, more than what Sanna Marin would have done. 100% they would have on the businesses, etc. etc. So basically, long story short, there's no government subsidies. There's no support from the government. They're getting the finger basically in return, and the tax has gone up. So this is what happens. This is the true Finns in the National Coalition Party. This is what they've done. So so that's why they're very upset with Sanna Marin at the moment because it's actually doing her company's actually doing well. She's actually employing people. It's actually in the green. So they're very upset with that because obviously the true Finns like just cutting stuff. It's time to cut, etc., etc. But this tells you all you need to know. And counting, just to say, this is going up. It's going up every day. And the same with the Finnish debt. It just keeps going up, basically. So, yeah. And what am I moaning about? Jesus, don't be like that. Yeah, but basically, long story short, I wouldn't be going looking for a job in Finland. It's not going well. But there you go. These are the exact same people at the moment that's literally up in arms about Sanna. Literally running a business, like literally doing a good job in one of a business. These are the people that literally are crying. Just look at that and compare it, and also the debt, and also the high unemployment, and also the fact that people can't even find a job, let alone get employed, because nobody's literally employing anybody now because there's no money to employ people. So basically, they've done a great job. National Code. They have no leg to stand on here, basically. So yeah, who, which, who, what, who, what, who, the World Health Organization. Oh no. But yeah, basically, so we all know it's just Russian misinformation, disinformation. The true Finns are to blame. People are just jealous. People just want to be, it's misogynist and stuff like that. Bum, 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 bum. But yes, I could see this becoming a big issue now in the next few weeks. Um, um, so, is there any questions on that? I know it's a lot of explaining. Yeah, they're trying their best, but nobody cares. Um, Adrian, it's time to cut. But again, the main thing about this is the true Finns are very upset that the cat cut it. That's what they're really, really upset that the cat cut the profits. Because, you know, it is time to cut. You know, that's the main thing. It's time to cut. No, it's 100% not true. Because definitely, like the one thing I can tell you for certain, I'm not a fan of them, but I can tell you for 100% certain about the leader of the True Finns, like 100%, as I said to you before, like this woman would not allow, like they absolutely hate themselves, let alone hate anybody else. You know, like this woman would not allow, like this woman's a psychopath. That's over the True Finns. Like she's generally the psychopath of the year. Like you mean to tell me, like literally the other day, the budget last week, they've cut the budget for integration, etc., etc. Like basically, they've literally uh, like they're on another level basically when it comes to immigration. Like you think Congo stuff is bad when it comes to inward migration, etc. Like you have seen nothing yet. Um, where is the thing? I showed it to you the other week. Jeez, you're not paying attention to what I'm telling you. Um, yeah, here we are. So I showed you this last week. No, but I don't think so. Because as I said to you before, it definitely was the Russians making up stuff. Because that interior minister's on, her son's sick, I said to you that week, her son's sick. She's on 4 months leave. So how could she say something when she's not even um so this is the leader of the True Finns. This is the psychopath with the sitters. Uh, you know, as she says, refugee quota has been lowered. So basically, they can take in literally no, they can do whatever they want, basically. But basically, they don't have to take in anybody, basically. They were seeking money for people that seeking asylum in Finland. That's basically fucking nothing. Basically, you get €30 a week. The services of the country will be cut. So everything's been cut. International aid. So before that, Finland was given hundreds of millions in international aid to foreign countries. That's been cut. So basically, there's basically nothing being given to them. Integration's been cut. All the NGO organizations are being cut. So this just tells you all you need to know. Like this woman, not to mention she dresses up as a literal Nazi. You know, so if you put two and two together, the interior minister, at the end of the day, this is her boss. You know, so I find it very hard if she did say the interior minister, and particularly because the media in Finland would be talking about it. And the fact that they're not talking about it really tells you something. And particularly this woman here would be whacking and waving if people were. Because again, you have to remember NGO organizations have been cut to literally to nothing. There's no such thing as NGOs in Finland. They're just all gone. They've just been cut to fuck. The Department of Integration in Finland, again, so it's just basically they've been cut by 90%. There's basically nothing left of the Department of Integration. You know, so basically, you mean to tell me this woman would let in all them Israeli, like not Israelis, Indians? You mean to tell me she'd let them in? You know. You know, I know the article you're talking about. I've seen it. I've talked about it. I've replied to you on that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, definitely no, because no, this is not the same woman. This is not this is the deputy prime minister, leader of the True Finns. Like she has done this. She has done it. So this doesn't suggest to me that we're going to bring in, that many Indians. I don't think so. I don't know about you, but I told you this last week too. Like, this doesn't suggest to me let's bring in 2,000, like, or 200,000 Indians. Especially when you see, like integration has been cut, the NGOs have been cut, and then when you see when people seeking asylum and stuff is basically getting nothing. You know, um, it doesn't end well. And basically, what I'm trying to say too is there's a lot of foreigners leaving Finland at the moment because of the true Finns. But basically, this woman will not give you anything. Like, she even put a post out earlier on. I think it was yesterday, was it? Like, she doesn't look very happy, woman. And this is the one with the sitters. So you mean to tell me she's going to let in people? Like, she wants to cut everything. So that means let's cut the immigration numbers too. I think this was there's something else because I'm watching the lunacy unfold. No, I don't. She definitely put like, I don't know when it was, but something else like particularly she was talking about. But she didn't talk about Indians. Like, definitely, like, you have to understand these are not kind of far right. Like, the other party, the National Coalition Party, would be classed as far right, but the True Finns Party are classed as extreme right, like extreme right. Uh, yeah, so this is basically doing more cuts. It's time to cut. So this is literally all she says: cut this, cut that, cut the other. Everything's been cut. We're cutting everything. This is what this woman wants. She just wants to cut everything. Where the fuck in the name of God was it? Like, basically, I don't believe you. Oh, nobody can deny Tony Blair. Nobody can deny that. A bad-looking woman, to be totally honest, unless you watch sitters. Unless you watch just be cut with sitters. What has happened. Unless you want to be cut with sitters and stuff like that, I suggest not. The Interior Minister reports to this woman here, and she's definitely not going to let it happen. Particularly when, as I said to you before the other day, like, definitely, nobody can argue he is a war criminal. Nobody can argue with that, Tony Blair. Nobody can argue with that one. And I wouldn't argue with that one. Like, it's just straight up the truth, to be totally honest with you. But no, but you have to remember, she literally said before about foreigners in Finland, we have to round them up and put them into camps. That's what she said before, literally before she was prime minister, no, deputy prime minister. So I don't think that woman will let in many people. You think about it. Because again, this woman is on another level when it comes to immigration, in fairness. But like, literally insane, like literally the one with sitters. So I don't think she's ever going to let anybody into the country. Even if I want to get into the country now to get a job or whatever, you wouldn't get it. As it was actually, they wouldn't let you in because it's time to cut. It's time to cut. Oh, I don't know much about him. I often see things online, but I don't really pass much mark on it. I don't think he's an MP, is he? He was the election happened. But yeah, no, this is the leader of True Finns. Literally goes around like this on a regular basis. Like, I don't know what she's trying to achieve. Like, literally in all black. So like, you mean to tell me she's going to let in people into the country? You mean to tell me that? Considering too, she quoted the Nazis numerous times. So I don't think so. And particularly because at the moment in time she's literally acting like a Nazi, to be totally honest. Like in many regards, just literally time to cut. Forward, and isn't that, I thought he would lost his seat, did he not? Like he did with, like I know what he had it in the by-election and stuff like that. But I don't think is he in now? He got it in the last election. The guy could be just not passing the marks on that, cope. What is this? Spending the majority of the day coping. So yeah, basically Santa did nothing wrong. they put it nicely. I wonder what OT covered. What do you think? But everybody gets what I'm saying about the whole article, because I went on for a long time about it. I don't know if people understand me fully. But I think it's all just to do with 24,000 euro. That wasn't like, I don't know what's the tax. It's hard to know, but that's what she took in dividends. Whatever. Like again, unless you're a professor, you wouldn't know. But we'll be definitely talking about more stuff tomorrow. But long story short, I think they're just upset, because the truth is, as I say, the main thing that I think they're just jealous, because let's be fair, they just want to cut, because it's time to cut. Like this, like this picture tells you all you need to know about the current government in Finland. And just to say why they were smiling too, I put it up on my community post. They were cutting people's sick pay and sick leave and sickness benefit and all that. So basically, they're all kind of like, this is the only time you ever see this woman smiling, literally with a pair of scissors in her hand when she's cutting like up documents for people's livelihood, basically, and also all the services, etc., etc. They just basically cut. It's time to cut, basically. So this just summarizes the Finnish government, like literally smiling. The only time you ever see this woman smiling when she has sitters in her hands, and literally she calls herself the Ministry of Sitters, and literally she calls the Ministry of Finance the Ministry of Sitters. So I don't really know what to tell you, but it's something not right with the truth. And all these people behind her too are smiling as they're cutting away people's lives, etc., etc. So basically, they're all very jealous because because they just want to see people being miserable. That's just the main goal of them at this point. People just being miserable. Like there's no other suggestion what they want to do, but they just want people to be depressed and miserable. But so basically, they're very upset that Santa Marin's business is actually being profitable and actually making money and doing stuff and actually going somewhere. Because compared to the Finnish economy, not so much, because it's been obliterated in the next century because of the sitters, and because everything has been cut, because it's time to cut. But yeah, it's time to cut. It's time to cut. But yeah, what do we think about it all? We'll probably stick around for a few more minutes. So what do we think? What do we think? Yeah, well, British pension has been fucked at the moment. This country is a joke. But yeah, the money that we got from Apple, we can build 36,000 new bike sheds around the gaff. It's time to build bike sheds. Yeah, you're self-government dominion. Yeah, the British government give you money, obviously, not. But you have your own government and stuff like that. Well, it's not completely whole. Obviously, it's under the crown, etc., etc. Like, still, at the end of the day, the British government have the main say. It's the same in Northern Ireland. The British government have the last say. Like anything in Northern Ireland, the British government can have the final say in it. But in a lot of stuff, they just have to be, they're totally independent. We pay the UK. I'm surprised they don't, because usually like you take for example Northern Ireland is would be the same really, isn't it? Maybe a bit different Northern Ireland particularly, but they get money from the United Kingdom, etc. Like same as the Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, Alderney, and all that. They get money from the UK government directly. Same with the Falklands now that they get paid by the British government in London. Same with say Helena and all that. They'll see us and all that. Like basically keep them small islands in the Pacific. It costs the British government billions of euros, millions of euros a year. Like it's insane amount of money. Like say Helena particularly, and the Azores and all them islands. Edinburgh of the Seven Seas and all that too. We want to ride a bicycle. Sorry, I'm just tricking around with a few things here now at the moment. We'll probably go in a few minutes later because it kind of wasn't planned to be live. I thought it wouldn't blow up as much as it did now in the last few hours. So that's why I came on to address it, because people think I was trying to hide it and stuff like that. But that's not the case at all. No. Big what the fuck in the name of God am I looking up? Agitated over what they said was no, geez, I'm not that agitated. I'm more laughing at it. Yeah, well, you have a saying that, but at the end of the day, like say any laws and stuff like that, they have to go. It's the same in Northern Ireland. They can't pass laws unless the British government says so. Say, for example, like do you remember the abortion law in Northern Ireland? The British government had the final say on it. Like even though Stormont voted for it, the British government at the end of the day could basically say no if they really, really wanted to. Hey, man, yeah, but technically it's still part, like, technically considered, really. But I don't know what the word is, but it's still, Westminster still has the same, basically. Same with all the islands, in the Channel Islands, too. You can technically argue they're not a part of the UK, etc., etc. And the same with the overseas colonies. It's the same when Ireland was a free state too, the Irish Free State. Westminster, at the end of the day, had the final say in everything. The British government had the final say, basically, in everything. But technically, still, as I say, the king is still head of state to the Isle of Man too. And that still means the British government are kind of in charge, I suppose. See, again, apologies if I don't. I'm only going by what I've vaguely looked into a few years ago, like years ago at this stage, what the system of the UK islands particularly. I was more interested in what say Henley and stuff like that. So again, I'm only going on muscle memory basically. So I could be wrong on some stuff. I admit. Everybody's gone now after all the coping. Excuse me. Um, Give me a moment. But so yeah. But yeah, tomorrow night to be a lot more discussed. There's mainly just one issue. I know we talked briefly about other stuff. Uh, but there'll be more issues tomorrow night. The main stream, I suppose we call it. This is kind of just a side stream. So the unemployment number too, just getting the numbers today, or just there a second ago. So there's 300,000 people in Finland unemployed. Uh, so that's great. Great economy. So 300,000 people don't have a job, can't find a job. That's great. What is happening? 9 o'clock. See, they wouldn't get to the end of the man anyway, because if they're going from, particularly, between me and saying from France, they wouldn't get too far. Well, the one thing we can't argue with Santa Mountain is, at least she didn't build a bike shed. You know, it would have been worse if she built a bike shed. So, in fairness, she has no bike shed on the go. Give her credit on that one. Yeah, no bother if you want to take you. We talk tomorrow. We talk more tomorrow. Now I don't know what time tomorrow. Now, just to say, it might be 6 or something. Maybe 7. I don't know. Around that time, anyway. So be a lot earlier probably than this, anyway. But I think we probably will live there anyway because it's 9 o'clock now. So anything else just before we go? I know we talked a lot about Santa Mountain tonight, etc. That was the main thing. Basically. There's nothing really else to talk about that. The main issue of the day. So I think we maybe leave it there because we get into more detail tomorrow about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about too. It mainly just one thing. It was kind of just a side stream, I suppose we'll call it. So yeah, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully it doesn't become too vital now, the story of Santa Mountain, of course. But let's hope not. Anyway, let's hope not. But let's hope it's hopefully kept in the finished press. Hopefully it will be on OT Radio television or anything like that. Even though, again, she done nothing wrong, but it's just the fact of the matter that, you know, the media is going to obsess over this for a long time. But the Western media, the outside of Finland, was obsessed over it. But anyway, thank you, Evan. As I say, she, in my opinion, she's done nothing wrong. She's done everything by the book. It's just the majority of it, I think, is just jealousy. To be straight up with you. Maybe you could argue you probably should never set up a business in the first place, like a company in the first place. But I don't quite know what to say now, but I'll probably hear about it later on. Let's see. So yeah, tomorrow we'll probably be live at 7. Just before I go. Anyway, I think that's it. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you. I know Fiona has gone. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Only, for being here. I talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night, anyway. And I see you then. Goodbye.